Hello, and welcome to this episode of Elijah Miles' The Journey. And in this episode, I'd like to talk about mental health. You know, sometimes we're at a point and in a place in our life where it's supposed to be happy, we're supposed to be celebrating, enjoying, but instead you're at a place that looks like it should be wonderful and bright, but you feel dark and overcast. So join me in this episode where we tackle the topic of mental health. Hey, before I start this episode, I'd just like to say that this is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart after having come through and experienced 2 years of depression. And I want to talk a little bit about that and tell a little of my story, and just know that I'm coming from a place of experience and a place of self-experience and not a soapbox. So everything I want to talk about and I bring up is, well, the majority is for sure my experience. And a small part is also the experience I had during those 2 years of talking to others with depression, with disorders, experiencing trauma. And this is my way of starting the conversation to get us all on a track, to put this under a microscope, to put this in light so that we can all find healing, address pains and address trauma, get unstuck, and to just really succeed and to overcome and to champion ourselves on the road to healthy mental health. Does that make sense? I'm not sure, but I hope it does. Anyway, kind of chill right now because it's a topic that's, boy, I don't know what to say. Didn't think this would be hard. This is hard. It's hard because I just want so many people to get it, and I just see the pain, and I see people doing the same damn things over and over and over and wondering why they're stuck. And even when they do succeed, forgetting that they planted seeds that probably weren't the best seeds a long time ago, and those are still going to grow. But how do you deal with them now, and how do you succeed, and how do you overcome those things? Still keeping yourself in a positive, amazing place. I just want to throw light so that we're not fooled and we don't fall back into old things, and that we can grow and we can live and we can learn and we can be happy. But too many people I see stuck, and that's coming from a place of having been stuck. People medicating and self-medicating with alcohol, with drugs, with sex, with so many different things, all because it's too scary to face the real problem that's actually going to get you to the place that you want to be if you just find the way, find the strength, find the courage to turn and face it. Because on the other side of that utterly scary thing, I promise you, is the most amazing positivity, most amazing love, and most amazing bliss that you have always imagined and have always wanted and can attain. So join me. Don't turn it off. Don't skip ahead. Let's talk about this. Let's do this, and let's get unstuck. And here, my friends, are the facts. Statistics from this past year, 2019. Did you know that 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness each year? 1 in 25 U.S. adults experience serious mental illness each year. 1 in 6 U.S. youth aged 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder each year. And did you know that suicide is the second leading cause of death
among people aged 10 through 34. You are not alone. Did you know that 19.1% of US adults experience mental illness? That is 47.6 million people. Represents 1 in 5 adults. 4.6% of US adults experienced serious mental illness. 11.4 million people, which is 1 in 25 adults. 16.5% of US youth aged 6 to 17 experience mental health disorders, and that is 7.7 million youth. 3.7% of US adults experienced a co-occurring substance use disorder and mental illness, and that is 19.2 million people. The annual prevalence of mental illness among US adults by demographic: non-Hispanic Asians 14%, non-Hispanic whites 20%, non-Hispanic Black or African Americans 16%, non-Hispanic mixed multiracial 26.8%, Hispanic or Latino 16.9%, and lastly, lesbian, gay, or bisexual 37.4%. Sobering, don't you think? Do you feel like you're being sucked down into a tunnel of darkness? Each turn, left and right, seems to lead you nowhere. But I promise that there is light at the end of that tunnel. And today I want to start the journey to seeking that light, seeking that healing, seeking that freedom. The first step out of darkness is the intention to find a light, to imagine and invite it, to draw it into sight. And as you set out on your journey and your healing path begins, you take a step into your power, for your magic lies within you. Hi, and welcome to my living room, and to Elijah Miles' The Journey. I'm really happy and pleased that you could join me tonight, this afternoon, whichever time you might be checking me out here on my channel. This has been a really hard episode to put together, just to kind of trying to find the right words to say and the way to say it, and how to start the conversation and start to talk about mental health. You know, hundreds of thousands of years ago, or maybe it was centuries ago, I should say, because what people don't understand and what they don't have the knowledge of and what they can't solve or heal becomes something gets turned into something very taboo and very scary. So I just wanted to open up a little bit and just so you can get a point of reference of where I'm coming from, and that I'm not coming from a soapbox, but just from experience, and over the course of several years talking to so many and listening to their experiences and what they've been through, and really started to see that my behavior and a pattern in my behavior and patterns in other people's behavior were directly related to trauma and hurt and pain. The intangible thing that we think is actually intangible, something that we can't touch, like a word, a phrase, a behavior, what someone has done to us, completely and utterly translates from just that into something utterly physical, whether it be a behavior, whether it be the way we react because of past experiences, whether it be that we are self-medicating with alcohol, drugs, sex, food. There's so much to be said, and why I want to talk about some things in that we have to be brave and we have to learn how to heal. I keep saying it over and over and over, and I want to keep saying it until it sinks in and we all learn that we're not going to get anywhere. Our behaviors are not going to change. We're going to keep falling back into the same things. We're going to feel stuck and in darkness if we don't heal what the actual root of the problem is. And it's one of those things that, shockingly, if you ask everyone, including myself, to stop and slow down, you can tell me what the problem is. But we might not have the tools or the way to fix or learn how or know how to heal those wounds. And like I've said, the most important thing is that we have to heal and rescue ourselves. And it's a step-by-step, day-by-day process, and it's work, and it's scary, but oh my God, the freedom. You know that place where you always wanted to be and that place that you want to go? You can get there. And it's scary, but you have to look at that pain. You have to find someone that can help you heal and give you the tools to cope. Because no matter how broad our shoulders are, and this I'm talking from experience and from myself, no matter how broad your shoulders are and you're that person that can handle or you even check in with yourself and say, hey, I think I got this. I'm okay. And you're one of those people, and maybe you're not, but if you're like me, you shoulder your own problems and pains, and then you also do the same for all those around you. I promise you there will come a breaking point and you don't see it coming and it hits you like a Mack truck. And that's what happened to me. Some of the things, and maybe in other episodes I'll go more into detail, but trauma and pain in my life. Growing up very Christian, and being taught that the person that I was, that I didn't choose to be, but who I was born as and who I was born to be, was not acceptable. The trauma of self-hatred and trying to rip something out of myself that I couldn't rip out. And the fear of not being accepted, not being loved because I was gay. And all I wanted was to love and be loved in return. A long 8-year relationship where... is that right? Yeah, same. Where that person fell into drug abuse, and the relationship soon became both mentally and physically abusive. And at one point towards the end, landed me in the hospital. Yeah, with fractured ribs. Also, Roxy wants to talk about her doggy mental illness. Oh, but you're perfect. No such thing. I don't believe in that. But I do believe in practice makes progress. A few other things that just come to mind that were things that I lived with and, that weighed on me. Sacrificing a blossoming career in entertainment for a relationship that, cheated on me and just was my first relationship ever. Then reawakening and removing towards that goal in New York and becoming very, very sick, having to go home, and got better, only to find out within a few months of each other that my father had been murdered in Thailand and my dad diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So, I felt in my heart that I had to stay home and just, there's a lot, losing my grandparents. There's a lot there. And, I would always do self-checks and check in with myself. But anyway, it led to all of a sudden this Mack truck hit me. A freight train just rolled on over me. And I just felt myself sinking and falling, and I just got sucked into this whirlpool, and I couldn't find my way out for 2 years. Utter depression, shutting myself in the room, trying to self-medicate, could not figure out what it was until I got so sick and tired of being so sick and tired, so sick of hurting those around me, and most importantly, hurting myself, that I had to make a choice to break free, and a choosing to take a step. And one fateful night, I'll never forget it. I was just Netflixing by myself, and it was a 3-episode, just random show from the UK where this woman was saving small businesses. And it came to the last 2 minutes of the last episode, and this woman, in just one of those moments that just seemed divinely arranged, asked this couple if she could tell them a poem that had moved and helped her and changed her life. And I remember when she got done, the air from my body, it seemed like, got sucked out of me. Every hair was standing on end, chills all over my body. And it was like I was awake again. I reawakened. It was the poem by Christopher Logue called Come to the Edge. Come to the edge, he said. But it's too high, they said. Come to the edge, he said. But we might fall. Come to the edge. And so they came, and he pushed them, and they flew. I can't tell you what that did for me. I had realized that I had been falling for so long, and in such a dark place for so long, and that I had grown comfortable being there. And it was such an awakening. And from that point and that moment, the clouds lifted, and I realized that I needed to take time to heal and to take time to learn how to fall in love with myself again, and just focus on me and work on me. And it's been amazing. And I can't tell you how much finding a therapist, if you have the means, or if you can, even if it means scraping together, selling something, you have to find someone that gets you, that you can vibe with, that you feel heard with, and that you feel like you can trust even when they ask you to do things that don't make sense. We have to take steps forward for our own healing. And I want to start this conversation, and start the conversation by saying it's okay. It's absolutely normal. And it's okay to talk about. And you're not weird. I found that it could be something as simple as a chemical imbalance in the brain. But how do you know unless you reach out and find that help? And then you just got to take a pill. There's so much that can be done. I have a student that I mentored for so long in music that was so brave and really just cracked the force field around the topic when he, on local television, talking about his music and his writing, talked and came out in front of all his friends and neighbors and family and across the whole state of Washington with the fact that he had OCD and how he was living with that and how it affected him, and to start the conversation with that, because it's something that you can treat, but something you have to work at day by day by day. So anyway, I don't want to get too long, and I want to talk more about this. But I just want to say you're not alone. You are not alone. Reach out, ask for help. And here are some of the ways that you can do that, because I don't want to. Let's not have excuses anymore as to why we can't be the best that we can be, why we can't heal. There's always a I can't, but there's no such thing as can't. Really, there's either you will or you won't.
Tune in next Tuesday as we continue the conversation, as we talk about practical applications and what helped me get through, and ways and means and places that you can reach out for help. It's out there. The choice is yours. Now go out and make it a good one.